definition of jungle cheese. The Jarvan takes red and then just walks middle and the other guy's level 1.
The best is when they push the wave level 1, 2, and you do that, and then like they just can't walk up the rest of the landing phase.
Oh, it's a tragedy for the guy who gets hit by it. But the other nice part about being in competitive instead of solo queue, at least you don't have to listen to your mid laner ping you 500 times at that point to come help you because the Jarvan messed up your lane.
Depends on the team.
Okay, I guess that's true. That's true. Sometimes it's hard not to tilt at something like that. But going into this game, you mentioned it earlier, whichever one of these teams can win exits week 5 with a 500 win-loss record, which is pretty important when we're talking about playoff contention, when we're talking about getting into the postseason. Demonte and Insanity, 1 versus 1 here in the mid lane. Overload not quite finding the mark there. The junglers are busy fighting over the chickens.
Nope, Levi
really wants those chickens. The trouble bubble comes in, not finding its way on to Odd Orange. But here comes your follow-up, and Demonte says, I don't care what kind of star power you got, your first blood.
Yeah, very nice coordinated invade by Echo Fox there. Levi getting kind of
graphically in terms of exact power points, so we're going to have to find out when that changes. But Sleepy Trouble Bubbles landing always make things difficult. Tahm Kench, a great pick against Zoe. Has to use the flash there, but being able to save whoever falls asleep is so critical at stopping those near one-shot levels of damage.
Yeah, great Tahm Kench pickup, which we didn't really touch on thus far, but it is fantastic into that Zoe pickup, able to save, like you said, whoever gets sleep on. It's also not too bad into Sivir comps in general, where either Maokai or Wyan are going to be trying to find one target to kind of engage on with that W, with that headbutt pulverize combo, and Tahm Kench can help out whoever that is.
Insanity currently rocking a free flash. So if you randomly see Zoe flash in the next 20 seconds or so, he's not using his real one. Oh my gosh, he actually flashed. Demonte in some trouble. Gets himself back, drops the root. Odd Orange hanging around, knows that Zoe's still got some abilities left to cast, so doesn't want to go in, understandably so. That's the thing too, when you're Warrior Jarvan, Zoe can legit just one-hit you.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Bottom side, Wyan starting this fight off, going for Papa Chow. The one person Tahm Kench can't save is Tahm Kench, and that is being displayed right now as they collapse and punish. Papa Chow goes down. Zoe grabbing the kill.
Nice collapse there as, whoa!
Ooh!
Lost threading the needle.
Lost sneaks in there, grabs that kill for himself.
Riv's gonna be happy about that one. Someone clip that and send it to him.
Monte really having to be careful about those tricky bubbles over the wall. The last time we saw Zoe earlier on in the day when Golden Glue was playing it, you mentioned, Mark, how this champion is so difficult to move up against because of a lack of perfect vision, meaning it's so easy to get one shot, but Insanity now taken down by Alorum, who comes up the bellows breath into the auto attack.
Bit of a split fight there on the side of 100 Thieves Academy. They were getting into a river skirmish. At the same time, Alorum had taken that advantage he had built in the top lane and roamed mid. And then Linsanity got a little greedy with his flash, I think it's fair to say, that he goes and tries to flash under his turret and into the 2v1, as opposed to flashing down and away from that and going towards the rest of his team. So, bit of a mistake there. Hopefully you'd see a replay and look at the other options he could have gone for.
The Jack's going to be a little bit on the back foot for the next few minutes.
Alorum making another roam down onto Insanity.
Wants to go after this Zoe. Remember, Zoe doesn't have true mobility. She has pseudo mobility in the ulti, but now Papa Chow, the man getting himself jumped on in the bottom lane yet again. Go for the guy who can't save himself. Levi grabs the kill.
And it looks like the skirmish in the mid lane still going on.
The damage onto Demonte is pretty strong. Insanity having to flash away to keep himself safe here. Odd Orange backing out. That's a fake flash, by the way. His real flash is still halfway on cooldown. He used the flash that he picked up from Odd Orange.
Yeah, right, that was the flash in that you do have the Sivir already to speed up the engages. And if you want another Righteous Glory, maybe you just leave that for Cow to pick up, and you can go for Sunfire or something to help you in the side lane a little bit more. Potentially a small advantage they could have looked for with their builds.
But it will give him more ability to pull the trigger on his own. Insanity, though, the one who could be in some real trouble right now, bursted down, no chance to retaliate. Kaizen moves in, trying to keep his teammates safe, but instead puts himself in a precarious spot, having to pop his own flash just to get out.
Really like the coordination we've seen thus far out of Echo Fox Academy this game. Always feels like they're on the same page with their engages. Alorum in particular, very impressive with his roams, but Damonte and Auto Orange also feeling like they have a great game plan. Pick off the enemy mid laner right before the third Infernal Dragon spawns. They pick this one up. No more will spawn the rest of the game.
Can they do it? The enemy support. No ulti. Wyan not having that means this fight is next to impossible. Only way to take this Drake is for Levi to be the noble sacrifice, run in there, smite, steal it away. He has the flash to get back out over the wall. I'm expecting him to go in, make an attempt on this one, and he got it!
And smooth as hell, too. Jumps in, smite, flash out before the enemy team can react at all.
That is so big to get that for your team. What you're comparing, the difference in the comparison of those bonus stats is now you have 8% less than your opponent. They have 16 and you have 8 in terms of the bonus. It would have been 0 to 24.
And unrecoverable in that position because if a team gets 3 of a dragon type, no more
There
spawn.
can't be any more.
Right,
Yeah.
so this means if the dragons keep getting taken at this rate, the next one is a mountain dragon, but if they take that one down, perhaps the third, or the fourth, the fifth,
The fifth.
the fifth and final dragon that would spawn this game could be another mountain, or infernal. As I blabber on, someone gets picked off.
That was a great bait from Echo Fox. They're saying, we know they're going to show up to this, sit inside the brush, wait for them to approach, and insta-give somebody. And they do just that. Grabbing the kill onto Wyan. Linsanity tried to check the brush with the Paddle Star, but it was not fast enough.
Not fast enough. No blue trinkets available, I believe, so they kind of had to run up and check that one. They do lose the kill for it, but there's enough minion waves crashing in the side lanes now. Warren is deciding it's not really worth debate again. So 100 Thieves is going to go in here and get some vision control, see that they don't need to worry about it. Warren showing in the bot lane, Ezreal on the top side, so they're all good. Taking a look at this play, how smooth this was. Jump in, smite, flash out before the enemy team even knew it hit him.
You can't do it any better than that.
Smooth criminal.
That's anything 35 minutes or after will be an Elder. So as long as you kill a Drake before 29 minutes, there will be another Elemental one spawning.
And there's a bit of a weird setup here for 100 Thieves Academy. They had Levi up in the top side playing around that Zoe as that dragon spawns. And Echo Fox not really reacting well to that and trying to force that dragon down quickly. Lost mid control for a second, and now that gank's going to happen.
Damonte tries to get himself away. Gets out, doesn't even need to have a Zhonya's effect to do it. But now the TP comes in, and Echo Fox will blow the horn, and here comes Ornn. Can they get the follow-up they need? Linsanity taken down to about half HP. Remember, he's got the ulti, but no true escape mechanism beside his flash. Echo Fox forces their opponents away, but don't really have a big advantage right now. Linsanity still at 2/3 HP, that's enough to work with. Finds the Sleepy Trouble Bubble onto the rise, but the minion wave walking up means Paddlestar can't follow it up.
Good force on the side of 100 Thieves, all things considered, to stall this game out. You get a lot of global cooldowns out from the side of Echo Fox, so you don't get pulled across the map quite as hard as you might otherwise. They do lose their own, but at this point, you're fine kind of dealing with that pressure. You might have been able to find a kill, enemy team reacted well, everyone disengages, and you're still in the same spot you were before.
Neither team wants to be the one that makes the mistake here. So many times. We've even seen it a couple of times already today, Mark. It's not the team that makes the big play and gets themselves ahead. It's the team that makes the big throw and ends up giving their opponents an advantage. And neither one of these teams feels like they're in a spot where they want to do something crazy or do something risky. It's all about just playing the waiting game.
Yep, absolutely. You can tell that teams in the Academy still struggle to close out games 100% cleanly for the most part. Either missing a thing or two when they go for the Baron, or just picking the wrong fight near it can be absolutely disastrous. Here, Fox trying to find a pick-off onto Levi.
All right, there comes your Ornn ulti. Rise also going to use the portal to get the rest of the guys in there, but now a multi-man stun from Levi to start off the fight, but a near instant kill onto Levi. Now they'll take him down. What else can they find here? Alorum popping the hourglass for himself to stay alive in the back line, but only for a moment. He will be taken down now. 1 versus 4, not the kind of number you walk away from. 1 for 2 overall as Papa Chow also died early on in the fight.
Really well played by the side of 100 Thieves, but just a little too fast on the trigger by Levi there. He jumps in for the 4-man stun, and I believe it was Lost he chunked out really hard, and there's no minion wave, so Lost had to run through the turret to get out of there. But the side of 100 Thieves was still busy dealing with that Tom Kench that they got caught out of position. Then Alarim was the one who kind of turned off to protect the rest of the team so that they could run out through that turret. Still a 1 for 2. They also grabbed the mid lane turret. It was great for them as Levi sniffed it out, knew it was a bait, jumps away from the Rise ultimate, still gets hit up by the Ornn, but he's safe at this point. And now the sleep has hit Tom Kench. He gets blown up. The 4-man stun was great. He also has the stopwatch to keep himself alive. Lost gets chunked out really hard into that turret, so he has to run out. And this fight is won. But you have to think they might have been able to win it even harder if Levi just waited a little bit longer before re-engaging with the rest of his team.
And that's what we were talking about with Levi. One of the things about him coming to North America, communication is going to be one of the biggest hurdles that he faces as a player. It's going to be something that gets better with time, but in his immediate games, it could be something where you see things look like they're not on the same page, miscoordination.
Yeah, another player that came over that doesn't speak a ton of English. There's been a couple of them. Someday as an example, Piglet as an example, when they first came over, did not speak a ton of English, and it made it difficult for them to synergize right away with their teams. Might be seeing a similar case here with Levi.
Lion trying to engage. They got the Sivir ult there down as well. Stun up, damage out. Odd Orange getting himself deleted. The Guardian Angel will bring him back to life, but now can they find anything else here in this fight? A rampage for Damonte onto the enemy support's a nice way to start it off. Damonte getting himself into that stasis, keeping himself safe. Pops the ulti here as well, but Linsanity grabs the kill onto Lost. A double kill for Damonte, picking up the kill onto Kaizen. It's a 2 for 1. Echo Fox walking away with this one so far. Paddlestar not getting a whole lot of payoff there.
Still need to be careful, even though they did win the fight, or excuse me, lose the fight. The enemy team can go for Baron, so they're not safe to back off. They have to continue pressuring around here and make sure they don't take this for free. They have Zoe and Sivir still up, so it's pretty difficult.
Put the Drowsy onto the Ornn, but he's instantly gobbled up. Papa Chow getting him away to safety, but they stop the Baron. That's what matters.
Yep. It was a bit of a touch-and-go situation. They get out, and with that, they actually got the mid-wave pushing for them as well, so they might actually trade up with an objective after that fight. Not bad at all, considering how it lost them their top and support.
Yeah, all in all, you'll take that any day of the week. When you lose the fight, have to hang around just to stop Baron, but you still get a tier 2. Let's take a look at how it happened.
It felt like they were being a little too cautious here. You see the double Righteous Glory. Really got to wonder how effective that is, but Lost gets out with the help of the Tom Kench. They focus down the GA, having Jarvan, and then the counter engage comes in from Ornn, who have flanked around the backside. Damonte is still a monster who no one feels confident or comfortable finishing him off. Lost took the Ignite on him and kind of got close to his tanks, which ended up losing them, as they take a Baron after all that.
Meanwhile, back at live.
Yeah, hey-oh. Anyways, I was saying Lost got 2-4, took some ricochet damage, died to the final ticks of Ignite. But it seems like 100 Thieves got a little lax after they finished off that mid lane turret. Echo Fox gets that Baron for free.
Baron for free. They've got the tempo of the game. They've got a 6,000 gold lead. What do you do with it now is the question. You've got a massive Rise that's one item away from being completely done with his... Oh, wait, no, he's not. He's actually got everything. Never mind. I stand corrected. I didn't see the fact that it was actually an Archangel staff that was on cooldown.
Yeah.
I thought that was like a broken stopwatch or something.
Nope.
No, that's a full build Rise at 34 minutes.
That is a real big boy.
That's a strong dude. So considering you've got this massive Rise that is just... I guess he still has to complete his Masterwork Zhonya's Hourglass.
Of course.
That's the final upgrade there. That's what I was talking about. Still had an item to complete, but... This is the scariest player on Summoner's Rift in this game right now, and playing around him properly, I think, is imperative for Echo Fox to get the most out of this Baron.
Right. They have a good comp to deal with 100 Thieves. 100 Thieves, of course, like we said, with that Zoe pick, can always find a pick off if someone's out of position and gets a little too careless around walls. Someone can always go down, but if you're just fighting straight 5v5s, both comps execute pretty similarly with big, tanky frontliners and strong backline damage threats. And Rise will destroy the enemy team's tanks right now. Like you said, full build Rise versus 2.5 item Maokai. How do you think he's going to stack up?
Yeah, granted, 1.5 of those items are magic resist, but it's full build Rise.
Yeah.
So
you see Kaizen, oh my god, the auto attacks destroyed that turret.
Yep, AP ratios on auto attacks. As the reinforcements come in, Damonte trying to get himself away. This is one of those situations. The old interaction would be useful with the Zhonya's. Levi grabbing the kill onto Papa Chow, who has to be the sacrificial lamb or toad or catfish or whatever Tom Kench is But if that was the old ult interaction, Damonte's out of there for free.
Yeah, you wouldn't need to collapse. You wouldn't need to save him. It's very easy to escape, and it's not the case anymore. Surprised that didn't work out better for Echo Fox. They had the taunt catch to collapse in, the rest of the team following in behind. But it looks like they're focused more on disengaging. So all things considered, pretty successful play by 100 Thieves, stalling out this Baron buff now. They actually haven't lost a turret with it, I believe. Bot lane turret got really low, but felt like Damonte was maybe a little too careful around it.
Damonte now still 5-0. Highest farm in the game by 8, up over the Sivir of Rakara, who's getting close to that full build point himself. Still has one more item to go, so the 5 kills doing work there for your Rise. Linsanity collecting the enemy blue buff for himself on this Zoe. Honestly, he's only got an item left to go too. And Zoe, once he has full build, if he can hit a max range paddle star onto an Ezreal, that is a one-shot.
Yeah, he's going to go bye-bye. As of right now, as we see the ult come in, actually.
All right, full engage. Coming out from 100 Thieves, odd orange. There's that risky build we're talking about. When you go for so much damage, when you go for this bruiser style, it can come back and bite you if you fall behind the curve of the game. And as someone who's playing a jungler in an LCS competitive style format, Academy League, trying to mirror the LCS, I guess I should say, still a competitive fives format, you're not going to be able to just take all the farm and be this huge carry threat of your own. Trouble bubble down onto the Ornn, pushing into the mid lane. Inhibitor turret goes down. 100 Thieves Academy taking everything they can. Give these guys an inch, they're going to grab a mile. Pushing onto the Nexus turrets themselves now. Still 15 seconds on the odd orange.
This is a little aggressive here. Would like to see them back off after finding, all things considered, a great look to steal the mid lane turret.
Ornn gets 2 at the second part of the ulti. Fakara eating the true shot barrage there, a little bit of extra damage onto him, but the disengage works out. Nobody dies.
Yeah, give up another Baron buff if that's going to be the outcome. They get an inhib for that. Is the net result. 100 Thieves found a good look onto Echo Fox a couple different times. They were using the Sivir ultimate to get around the map and find the pickoffs. But Echo Fox could play that a lot safer and not actually be losing those kills. And you see the benefit of those trade-ups that they made in the mid lane. The fact that those 2 turrets were already down meant they only had to get through 1 more to actually take the inhibitor for 100 Thieves there.
100 Thieves, even though they're behind, they're still finding ways to make plays. And for me, that's a really good sign for any of these teams. You mentioned earlier, Mark, how in Academy League or in any of these semi-pro style leagues where you're looking to make that last step up to the biggest competitive stages, one of the greatest challenges a lot of the teams face is learning to close the game, learning how to take a winning game and turn that into a won game. And those kinds of things right there are what I want to see from a team right now. Pulling the trigger yet again onto Papa Chow. He can't save himself, but sometimes he may not even need to if they can find the counterattack. Instead, he's going to be burned down. Odd Orange taken low here as well. Kaizen will fall to loss. The re-engage from the Odd Orange finds its way onto Wyan, as now the Rise Express going to be bringing everybody downtown. Levi barely getting himself away. You can't say the same thing for Rakara, as now Linsanity cannot make enough portals to get out of that one. And Echo Fox Academy, with 4 enemy players dead, will push into the base. They've got 1 minion, Mark. If they protect it, if they don't let it take the turret aggro, they can send the Ornn in there and just look to end the game.
Might be able to. They also don't have a wave too far behind, maybe 15 seconds out.
Okay, Levi did exactly what he had to do. He assassinated the VIP. He killed the minion and got rid of the backdoor penetration that thing provides to the turrets. However,
here comes
you
the other
still got to deal with the rest of the minions. He killed the VIP, but now there's 6 more VIPs. And Echo Fox Academy finding themselves in a spot where they can take down 100 Thieves and make Levi's debut less stellar than possible, get themselves that 500 record after the end of week 5. Looking good going into the second half of the split.
Yeah, looking really good for Echo Fox there. 100 Thieves have found a couple openings in a row using that Sivir ult. They try it a 3rd time.